I know what you're thinking. Why is Alex Jones talking about Lindsay Lohan? And I'll be quite honest with you. If I can get you to pay attention to this key information I'm about to cover by mentioning Lindsay Lohan, I'll do it. Because Lindsay Lohan is just another individual on this planet like everybody else. And a lot of top doctors have come out and said, look, we have interviewed her and we've done medical exams, and she shouldn't have been on Adderall, which is basically a form of methamphetamine. And this can cause the same effects in people that cocaine and methamphetamine does. And that several doctors believe that this is why she's been so out of control. Well, no kidding. School children in this country, millions of them, are put on Adderall and other amphetamine type drugs like Ritalin. And in the inserts for the drug, it says it can cause brain shrinkage, heart expansion, all sorts of serious health problems. When I was in junior high, one of the kids on the football team died of a heart attack, and the doctor said it was the Ritalin. I mean, this is an ongoing nightmare. Look at these drugs. New reports have come out that over 80% of the drugs, the new drugs they're selling, prescription drugs, A, don't treat what they claim they're treating, and B, have toxic side effects. I mean, you've all seen the drug ads on TV where they'll say, having trouble urinating every few hours? Take this drug, but it, may
also increase the chance of serious skin reactions or stomach and intestine problems,
dry mouth, insomnia, sexual side effects, diarrhea, nausea, and sleepiness,
muscle pain or weakness,
unusual changes in mood or behavior, or thoughts of suicide.
But if you look at the mass shootings, and every time I see a case of a mother who chops her toddler's arms and legs off, or straps their 4 kids in their car and drives it off a cliff into a lake and drowns them, in every case they've been on serotonin reuptake inhibitors, which is the Prozac class of drugs. Well, they were being developed in the early 1980s. Their own studies by Eli Lilly and others with Prozac showed that it caused a massive increase in suicidal tendencies. Now they've tested it on rats, shrimp, guinea pigs, you name it, and they found that it causes reckless and even suicidal behavior in not just mammals, but things like shrimp. But it all makes perfect sense. When you actually read the molecular breakdown and the drug inserts for these fluorine or fluoride-based serotonin reuptake inhibitor drugs, they are in the hallucinogen class. They are a psychotropic subclass of hallucinogens. So most days, you're going to have a good trip on this stuff. You're going to be happy, not worried about a thing in the world. But what happens when you have a bad trip? You cut your children's arms and legs off. You go into a school and murder people. In every case that we've seen, the system knows that these drugs are destroying people. They're hardcore profiteers. And statistically, most people that get on the speed-type drugs or the hallucinogen serotonin reuptake inhibitors get more psychological problems. And then the answer is not less drugs, it's more drugs. We see the same thing with all these reports coming out in Europe, the United States, and Asia, where 3-year-olds, 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds, I mean, babies in some cases, are growing breast, going into menstruation, starting to have their periods because of the Bisphenol A that's in the plastic products and the hormones that are added to the food. And what do doctors here in the U.S. do whenever that happens? The American Medical Association says, give them hormones to counterbalance the hormones that are in the food and water and the packaging, instead of, hey, get your kids off of these hormones. Here's 2 articles on that subject that just came out today. Babies with breast shock China. They're getting upset about children as young as 1.5 years old. Here in the U.S., it's only 3-year-olds who are going into puberty. In China, 1.5 years, 2 years old, babies with breast. Here's another one. Fury in China as female babies grow breast after drinking milk laced with hormones. At least the Chinese are getting angry. When China catches their executives tainting the milk and the food, they execute them. And there's been cases of that, but not here in the United States. It's all just swept under the rug. The system counts on your ignorance. In the last decade, multiple times, over 90% of the EPA and in another movement of the FDA, of their own scientists went on record and testified before Congress that sodium fluoride causes cancer, IQ reduction, brain damage, you name it. It doesn't even strengthen teeth. And what's the government's answer? We're going to increase in many cities the amount of fluoride that we're adding to the water. And now the city of Watsonville has been cited by the California Department of Public Health for failure to comply with an order by the state to fluoridate the water supply. And now Schwarzenegger has gotten laws rammed through to get this done. This is a massive chemical attack that reduces fertility, that increases bone cancer, and attacks every organ in the body. It's admitted on record, and it's literally being done to make you servile zombies and submissive. And now the government's coming out saying, yeah, we do it to make you submissive. And we want to put lithium in your water to make you submit and be happy. The government's going to perfect you and make you happy. And we've got vaccines that will go in and reprogram your brain so you won't feel stressed and get angry. This is a plague upon all of us all. This is a military-industrial complex, big pharma war against free humanity. The facts are in. We're all victims of this, not just Lindsay Lohan. They know that they're selling this death. But let's get into vaccines. Wolfgang Wodarg, the head of the EU Commission, a medical doctor, conclusively found with his board of other scientists and doctors that the H1N1 was a toxic vaccine and was a hoax, and that medical companies, the big vaccine makers that made tens of billions of dollars, paid off European and other Western governments, including the United States, to go out and hype fears. And now we have the statistics out of England where they've suspended the H1N1 shot because of a 10-fold increase in violent convulsions in under 5-year-olds. It's giving them chronic brain inflammation, brain damage. And if your child happens to have a convulsion after the vaccines, then the CPS comes and takes them. Well, now the media's back. Tom Thumb is offering a big discount on your groceries if you get the new H1N1 shot for 2010, combined with the regular flu shot. The government is all over the newspaper saying everyone must take it or we're basically all dead. So they were caught hoaxing everyone last year. It came out it was a hoax. And are they ashamed of what they've done? No, they're back pushing it, ladies and gentlemen. They know full well what they're doing. Just like the Gardasil shot. On its own insert, it admits it doesn't protect you from papillomavirus and cervical cancer. And it admits that it's actually maimed and killed many people and caused autoimmune disorders. So now they're back again trying to force feed us their mercury-laced deadly vaccines in 2010, even after the EU and the British Medical Journal exposed them for the fraud they were involved in. I've interviewed the former head of the Pentagon's depleted uranium program, Dr. Doug Rockey. And up until the mid-1990s, the Pentagon admitted that DU, depleted uranium, was deadly poisonous and radioactive, that it would hurt the people that lived in the countries where we used it, and that would also hurt our troops. Now they're using it in hundreds of different types of munitions. And the statistics and studies are coming in from Iraq in cities like Fallujah, where it's been used, with a 4-fold increase in all cancers and a 12-fold increase in childhood cancers in under 14s. And the images of the mutated, deformed children with 2 heads or without legs, and the fact that their blood's been tested and they're full of depleted uranium, it is so inhuman. And our troops go into these areas and breathe it and absorb it as well, and we're seeing massive increases in deformities of their children. Now, what does it say about our government? That they had developed this stuff in the 40s as a weapon, but they wouldn't use it until 1991. And there is a multi-billion-year half-life on this depleted uranium, and it is a scourge upon humanity. And it's now being used in firing ranges across the United States near to major cities. If you're asking why this is happening, it's not just about profits. It's about power. It's about population reduction. We have covered the White House science czar calling for drugging the water to sterilize people. We've gone over, the hundreds of different government documents that call for it as well. But just in the last few weeks, one of our Infowars.com writers did some amazing research and found published, admitted on the Rockefeller Foundation's own website, studies where in the 60s they were putting massive amounts of money into compounds that could be added to vaccines so that you'd be given a vaccine for tetanus or the flu that would then go in and reduce fertility. So everybody doesn't get sterilized, because then people would notice. Only certain percentages. And so they talked about how to secretly do this and put it into the vaccines to sterilize people. And now it's been done, and they're expanding this system. There is something to the science of vaccines and how you can take a little of something that's bad so that your body learns to defeat it. But the issue is the UN and our own government's been caught adding real polio to vaccines all over the world every year, killing people in mass, and they just get away with it. They've been caught adding cancer viruses to polio vaccines. They've been caught adding other systems to tetanus shots to carry sterilization compounds. They've been caught doing everything the Rockefellers funded in the 60s. This is a total military takeover, but it's by stealth. And it's not just Lindsay Lohan being targeted by these poisons, by these drugs, by the stuff in the water. It's all of us. We're all under attack. And these drugs and chemicals make us more unhealthy. They make us more mentally unstable. So the system has a pretext to come in and control our lives. Please warn everyone you know and spread this video to everyone you can so that we can stop this madness. Our entire civilization is under threat by the scientific dictatorship.